Liverpool fans, big updates coming your way. From transfer drama to powerful messages and U21 thriller action, we've got everything you need to know. If you love daily Liverpool news, analysis, and honest opinions, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join the family here on Anfield Wire. Jurgen Klopp's message to Yan Diomande amid Liverpool transfer speculation. The RB Leipzig star is attracting interest from a host of top European clubs ahead of the summer, and Diomande's relationship with Jurgen Klopp could prove advantageous for the Reds. Reported Liverpool transfer target Yan Diomande has revealed his interactions with Jurgen Klopp have felt like a movie. The teenager is currently starring for RB Leipzig, where he has scored 8 Bundesliga goals in 21 appearances this season. That form has seen him linked with a move to several top European sides, including Liverpool. And it's Klopp who could ultimately decide Diomande's destination this summer, with the winger expected to find a new employer. Klopp is currently serving as Red Bull's head of global soccer, overseeing major decisions at Leipzig. That could prove advantageous for Liverpool should it attempt to sign Diomande ahead of the 2026-27 season. The Ivory Coast international revealed in a recent interview that Klopp has underlined the importance of staying grounded in their meetings since he joined Red Bull last year. "We talk every now and then," Diomande told Bild. "He tells me to stay humble and keep working hard. It was always my dream to play on one of his teams. That's not quite possible now. But being so close to him now, talking to him, shaking his hand, it's incredible. He's a legend. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a movie." Diomande has reportedly attracted interest from the likes of Real Madrid, Manchester City, and Bayern Munich, but Liverpool has seemed the most likely landing spot this summer following his comments earlier this year that it would be a dream to represent the Reds. However, the 19-year-old looked to address those comments when speaking to Bild. "People made it out to be my dream club. But first and foremost, it's my dad's favorite club. It was always his great wish to see me play there someday because he loves the atmosphere at Anfield. He always raved about Steven Gerrard. I was too young to see him play. We didn't even have a TV at home for a long time. I have a lot of respect for Liverpool, but my dream club right now is Leipzig." The right-footed winger is comfortable playing on either flank, meaning his arrival at Anfield could prove problematic for Rio Ngumaha's development. The Reds opted against signing an offensive wide player last summer to avoid blocking Ngumaha's progression into the first team. The same logic would surely stop any summer move for Diomande, but with Federico Chiesa and Mohamed Salah likely to depart at the end of the season, the Leipzig protégé could represent an intriguing proposition for the Reds. Adam Lallana hits nail on the head with verdict on Liverpool player he loves. The former Liverpool midfielder who on punditry duty when another of his former sides, Brighton, traveled to Anfield for Saturday's FA Cup fourth-round fixture. Former Liverpool midfielder Adam Lallana has praised Florian Wirtz's recent upturn in form and believes the summer arrival is showing signs that he has adapted to the demands of the Premier League. Wirtz, who failed to net in his first 22 Liverpool games, enjoyed a run of 6 goals in 10 appearances over December and January and is beginning to play an increasingly important role for the Reds. He was the best defensive player in the recent win at Sunderland, and despite failing to register a goal or assist, he earned comparisons with Zinedine Zidane from Steven Gerrard. The German recently revealed he has added muscle to cope with the physical demands of the English top flight, and the former Bayer Leverkusen star is starting to justify the figure north of £100 million that Liverpool paid for his services last summer. Speaking ahead of the Reds' FA Cup win over Brighton and Hove Albion, Lallana praised not just Wirtz's technical ability, but also his mentality. "I love him. I think in the last few weeks he's started to get the numbers people expect for the price tag he come to the football club with," the ex-Southampton and Brighton man said on TNT Sports. "I think even early on in his career, the endeavor he was playing with, the willingness to step forward and to run and to press, it's just a complete different physicality required in this league to Germany. I just think you've seen a little bit of adaptation, that's all." Meanwhile, this week Roy Keane likened Wirtz's improvement to the diminutive Luka Modric, who struggled to immediately adapt following his move to Tottenham Hotspur in 2012, but went on to earn a transfer to Real Madrid. "I still think it'll take him a full season to get up to speed," opined the ex-Manchester United captain. "I think next year, Remember when Modric and all these boys took their time at Spurs to get used to the physicality, and he ended up playing in a 2? I could not see how Modric was going to become a top player. Wirtz has made 35 appearances for Liverpool this season and has provided 6 goals and 8 assists. Arne Slot was right to stand firm. Now Liverpool star is rewarding faith amid Reds' revival. The Liverpool head coach said after the FA Cup win over Brighton that the Reds are progressing. While supporters will be wary of corner-turning moments this season, one player's development is cause for optimism. Arne Slot chose his words carefully. Too often this season his comments have been taken out of context. And after his Liverpool side easily dispatched Brighton and Hove Albion, he opted against any remarks that could be mistaken for overconfidence. Slot praised Brighton, warned the game could have unfolded differently had they taken their chances, and pointed again to the fine margins that have defined Liverpool's season. Then came the pointed message after a commanding 3-0 FA Cup win. His Liverpool team is improving. I think it's fair for me to say that this team has made a proper development throughout the last few months, he told TNT Sports. This is not a new stance from Slot. In fact, it's an opinion that he has trotted out several times in recent weeks. Opinions vary on the extent to which the Reds are developing, and Liverpool supporters have seen corner-turning results precede disappointing defeats too often this season. But after wins over Brighton and Sunderland this week, it's hard to disagree with Slot's verdict. His every decision has been dissected over the campaign, and there was a period when every choice seemed to backfire. That is no longer the case. Dropping Ryan Gravenberch and Hugo Ekitike on Saturday, switching formation and selecting Curtis Jones at right back all paid dividends. The latter's redeployment in defense could become a more common occurrence in the final months of the campaign, with Jeremy Frimpong and Connor Bradley injured. The selection addresses 2 problems facing Slot: giving Jones more regular minutes and allowing Dominic Szoboszlai to reprise his preferred midfield role. The 25-year-old has excelled wherever he has played this season, but to maximize Szoboszlai's all-action style, his selection in midfield feels like a must. If the Hungarian has been Liverpool's benchmark performer this season, perhaps his international teammate best embodies the upturned Slot referenced. Milos Kerkez's continued selection mystified supporters earlier this campaign. Now few would question his guaranteed starting berth. Against Brighton, he showed signs of why Liverpool was willing to part with £40 million, $54 million, last summer for the left-back. He provided the game's opening goal with a powerful back-post cross that Jones tapped in just before the break. That was his second assist since signing from Bournemouth, with the previous coming in the win over Newcastle United 2 weeks ago. That alone offers a small barometer of his development, but he also tested Jason Steele in the early stages and impressed defensively. Only Alexis Mac Allister completed more tackles for Liverpool in the 4th-round victory, while no one produced more interceptions against the Seagulls. Beyond the numbers, Kerkez simply looks sharper. He's snapping into tackles, flying down the wing, while the errors that so infuriated Virgil van Dijk earlier this season have dissipated. I think it is pretty clear you definitely see an improvement, the Liverpool captain said after the game. He is still so young and is getting used to being a Liverpool player, but with the help of Andy Robertson, and the rest of the team and his own development, I think he is making big progress. The mention of Robertson is telling. Many felt that the experienced defender should have been selected ahead of Kerkez in the early months of the season. Yet Slot stood by a player he feels can occupy that role for the next decade at Liverpool, and is now reaping the rewards. He will also point to the refinements in Florian Wirtz's game as another example of how the team is developing in his image. The first half against Sunderland, when Liverpool looked defensively secure but had 14 shots and amassed 69% of possession, felt like the first glimpse of what the Dutchman has been building toward over this long winter. The key to Liverpool's success this season, and whether it can ultimately lift silverware, will be determined by the displays of the Reds' summer signings and last season's star performers. So how relieved will Slot have felt to see Mohamed Salah back to his commanding best? He scored, assisted Szoboszlai and won a penalty, all while contributing to Liverpool's defensive output. This was among his best performances in what has been such a disheartening campaign, and, much like Kerkez, there was a hunger burning behind his smile that has been absent for months. Liverpool will resist the temptation to overreact to one win, But 2 dominant displays in a week offer tangible evidence of progress. With 8 days to prepare for the trip to Nottingham Forest, nothing less than 3 points is expected at the City ground. Against a side Slot has never beaten, next week could offer a more telling insight into how far this team has really come. Michael Plant is one of our Liverpool FC reporters. In addition to covering the latest club news, Michael attends matches and press conferences and is a regular contributor of engaging opinion pieces. Joining in December 2024, he brings a wealth of experience from nearly 7 years reporting on Manchester United and City. Now based in Liverpool, Michael was born in Birmingham but grew up in Belfast. Yan Diomande clarifies Liverpool transfer comments after favorite club claim. The RB Leipzig star previously said it would be his dream to play for the Reds, but speaking in a recent interview, he provided an updated answer on his next career steps. RB Leipzig winger Yan Diomande has clarified his recent comments that it would be his dream to play for Liverpool. The 19-year-old has scored 7 goals in 20 Bundesliga appearances this season and is expected to be one of the most in-demand players heading into this summer transfers window. The Red Bull franchise of clubs has often provided the platform for some of Europe's biggest stars to launch their careers. Erling Haaland, Josko Gvardiol and Christopher Nkunku were allowed to depart from Leipzig and Red Bull Salzburg in recent years, while Liverpool also purchased Ibrahima Konate and Dominik Szoboszlai from the German club. Diomande could be the latest to join that storied list, and Liverpool has been strongly linked with a summer move for the Ivory Coast international. Diomande certainly didn't diffuse those suggestions during a TikTok live stream last month, when he expressed his desire to one day represent the reigning Premier League champions. "I want to play at Anfield, I want to play for Liverpool. I'm a big fan of Liverpool," said the teenager. "I'm a big fan of Liverpool because my father's dream is to see me play at Anfield. So that's my dream. You know, to fulfill my father's dream is a dream for me too." However, speaking in a recent interview with German outlet Bild, Diomande has explained those remarks. "People made it out to be my dream club. But first and foremost, it's my dad's favorite club. It was always his great wish to see me play there someday because he loves the atmosphere at Anfield. He always raved about Steven Gerrard. I was too young to see him play. We didn't even have a TV at home for a long time. I have a lot of respect for Liverpool, but my dream club right now is Leipzig." Should Liverpool seek any advantage when it comes to summer negotiations, the presence of Jurgen Klopp as Red Bull's head of global soccer will do the Reds' chances no harm. Diomande also revealed in the interview that he has spoken to the former Liverpool manager on several occasions. "We talk every now and then. He tells me to stay humble and keep working hard. It was always my dream to play on one of his teams. That's not quite possible now. But being so close to him now, talking to him, shaking his hand, it's incredible. He's a legend. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a movie." Reports have indicated that Leipzig could demand up to €100 million, £87m/$119 million, for Diomande's services, with Manchester City, Bayern Munich and Real Madrid also linked with the attacker. U21's match report. Liverpool wins 7-goal thriller with West Brom. Liverpool U21s produced an entertaining 4-3 victory over West Bromwich Albion in Premier League 2. Rob Page's side fell behind twice in Sunday's game, with a Miller-McDonald finish and own goal sandwiching a response from Will Wright. But the young Reds then moved through the gears at the Kirkby Academy as Trey Nyoni, Rio Ngumaha and Kieran Morrison all scored. That proved sufficient to clinch 3 points despite Ryan Colesby bringing the Baggies back to within 1. Liverpool had crafted the first attempt on goal inside the opening 2 minutes. Kyle Kelly's threaded short pass into the area presented Trent Cone-Doherty the chance to shoot, but his drive flew over the upright. West Brom shrugged off that early scare to impose a period of pressure that included gaining a 9th-minute lead. A slick passing move in the right channel saw the ball served across the area, where McDonald was free at the back post and tucked a finish into the bottom left corner. They might have immediately scored again. Souleymane Mandé sidestepped 2 to reach the edge of the box, and his blast was straight at Armin Pexi to punch away. The Reds composed themselves and were close when Clay Ewing attacked space on the left and delivered a low cross that Wright would have pounced on without a defender's intervention. The Baggies were helpless to stop Wright on 24 minutes, though. Nyone's pinpoint through pass allowed the striker to go one-on-one, and he calmly rounded the goalkeeper and rolled the ball home. West Brom's advantage was, to Liverpool's frustration, restored within moments. In trying to prevent Monde from converting a rebounded effort, Noah Adekoya conceded an own goal. But the home team swiftly got back on terms amid a flurry of goals. Ngumaha raced past his marker down the left and picked out an unmarked Cone Doherty at the back stick. With the ball stuck under his feet, he unselfishly set up Nyone for a tap-in. Brian Okonkwo in the away net caught a close-range header from Adekoya after a brilliant nod across the box by right. Liverpool gained a lead to take into the interval, however, and it was emphatic from Ngumaha. The teenager skipped around two opponents as he moved in from the left corner of the area and unleashed a rocket into the far side of the target. Ngumaha, Ewing, and Cone Doherty all threatened to provide a fourth as the Reds purred ahead of halftime. The match's open nature continued from the outset of the second half, and Page's Charges got their fourth goal 4 minutes in. Ngumaha led a counter with a long dribble and fed right, who kept the ball in at the byline and rasped a cutback to Morrison. The PL2 Player of the Month for January took a touch to control and fired a low hit past the keeper. Alfie Mon deflected another Ngumaha attempt to the wrong side of the post, and right was denied by Okonkwo as he stretched for Morrison's cross yards out. West Brom reduced their deficit back to 1 goal just past the hour mark. A flowing string of forward passes culminated in a first-time cross from the right flank that teed up Colesby for a straightforward finish. Nyone saw a low strike across goal stopped, and both sides continued to commit numbers forward in the search for goals. But the count remained at 7, not least courtesy of a Ewing block in the last of 5 added minutes, as Liverpool's 1-goal margin secured the win. Team Liverpool U21's Pexy, Ramsey, Davidson, 80, Pinnington, Adekoya, Ewing, Kelly, Laffy, 75, Cone Doherty, Morrison, W, Wright, Nyone, Ngumaha, Pilling, 69, and used subs, Poitres, Onanuga.